Since it's April Fool's Day, let's take a look at some of the greatest Family Guy moments where the characters got pranked, tricked, and fooled. Whoa, okay, let's just cut that off. Sorry guys, it seems our editors mixed up the clip we were supposed to play. Let's just get on with the video, shall we? Starting with perhaps the most notorious prank in the whole series, which was pulled in April and Quahog, where the whole town was convinced they were gonna die.
What does the discovery of this black hole mean to you and your research?
I am overjoyed.
So scientists discover a black hole that's right outside our solar system. It's kind of like when you see a bear out your window. It's cool to see one up close, but it better not mess with my car. But unfortunately for everyone on Earth, the black hole is about to mess with their cars and then some.
Neptune and Pluto have already been consumed, and scientists estimate that the event horizon will reach Earth by tomorrow.
Well, if there's one person you can trust on world-ending events, it's the local news. No need to fact-check this online or anything. So everyone around town decides to start prepping for their last day on Earth, with some people thinking it's time to sneak in one last prank.
You gotta help me get laid!
What are you talking about, Quagmire?
I gotta get laid! You gotta help me get laid! I've never had
I knew a guy in a Hawaiian shirt wasn't getting laid all the time. The numbers just didn't add up. Luckily, Joe has a perfectly good wife he could lend to Quagmire to help fulfill his last... I'm kidding. If you're gonna die, might as well go out with your middle finger held high.
How was your first time?
Oh, I've had lots of times. I just wanted to have it again.
Again? Am I hallucinating or did you guys hear that too? Okay, moving on, I guess. Elsewhere in Quahog, Tom Tucker decides to do a little pranking of his own with the short time he has left.
Hello, is this Megan Fox? I will kill you, do you understand? If I can't have you, no one can.
Good luck with that, buddy. I've seen what Megan does to people who try to harm her. But that isn't even the biggest prank Tom pulls in this episode, because the entire idea of the black hole eating the Earth was completely made up by Tom and Diane.
April Fools!
What?
You gotta be kidding me.
Well, that's certainly a lot of egg on everyone's faces. I think it's only fair that a little bit of blood gets on Tom and Diane's faces now. Can't it's just a prank bro your way out of this one.
And with only 87 and widespread looting, we think this was a pretty successful practical joke.
And Peter and Joe would hijack Halloween to prank the crap out of Quagmire and Halloween on Spooner Street, only for Quagmire to get back at them with the greatest prank of all, pretending to be Japanese.
Me, Joe, and Quagmire do this thing where one of us is it, and then the other two of us nail the crap out of him with awesome pranks.
Well, Halloween is supposed to be the scariest time of the year. If Quagmire suffers a heart attack, then they'll just know they're doing the holiday right. So the prank first starts with a little harmless egging.
Guys, be careful! This isn't my box!
But that's not nearly scarring enough. They need pranks that will forever alter his brain chemistry and lead to him trusting no one.
It was good for me, too.
Ah!
Got you again, Quagmire!
Now that's what I'm talking about. Good on Joe for taking one for the team just to pull a fast one on Quagmire. Now go get your brain checked because you might actually be insane.
Happy Halloween!
And the guy's next prank involves injecting Quagmire with every disease known to man, but unfortunately, he's already got them all. Almost all of them.
All right, what this is has no name, so you can't have it.
Classic foreign blood disease prank. I think I saw the guys on Jackass do that once. But Quagmire's been a good sport all night, so they let him off the hook, though this whole thing reminds Quagmire of one of his favorite proverbs.
Holy crap, you speak Ebonics?
Close, but actually he wasn't close at all. That was Japanese, and Quagmire reveals that his grandfather was a Japanese World War II pilot. A very specific type of pilot who doesn't exactly let him come around for holidays.
He was a kamikaze pilot.
Yeah, no, I heard you. He was a karma chameleon, but how come I never met him?
But it turns out that the spirit of Quagmire's grandfather might still flow through him, because when he decides to take Peter and Joe for a ride in an old plane, he suddenly gets the urge to nosedive.
Something just awakened inside me. I can feel my grandfather's Japanese blood coursing through my veins.
That's probably just whatever that disease was that the mosquito gave you. I'm no doctor, but flying a plane doesn't seem like something you should do a few hours after bleeding out your eyes. But Quagmire, fully possessed, feels it's right to do a bombing run with his friends in the cockpit.
You know what they call this in my country?
What?
Payback!
Looks like Quagmire had a prank of his own up his sleeve. He's not actually Japanese, but he must be a weeb to speak it so fluently. Maybe next year they can stick to some more harmless pranks rather than ones that'll straight up kill their friendship.
That was for making me have with Joe, you sons of.
You guys actually had.
Yeah, I kinda went rogue with that one.
And to work out his holiday frustrations in Christmas Guy, Stewie pranks Meg with the classic unscrewing the salt shaker lid gag. And you thought having a high sodium meal would be the worst thing that could come out of that prank. Maybe this was Stewie telling Meg that if she doesn't change her eating habits, she's gonna see the results in every part of her body. Or maybe he just needed a use for his venomous snake. I'm still trying to figure out what to do with mine.
Besides, how much trouble can he cause? He's a baby.
Another classic gag that makes you wonder why the hell did anyone ever do that is lighting a bag on fire on someone's doorstep, which Chris does to Joe in Brian the Bachelor.
Now light it, ring the doorbell, and run like hell.
Oh, I don't know about this, Doug.
Just do it.
Just realized Chris's pimple has the same name as Stewie's former rival. Just goes to show you can't trust a Doug, whether it's a pimple, a child, or a balding teenager. But there's also a little secret surprise in that bag that makes this prank extra rank.
Is that
Duty!
I'm doing the dishes, Joe. I'll change you in a minute.
Can't tell if that's better or worse than some modern day pranks. Though I'd probably rather have burnt dog poop on my shoe over getting smack cammed in the street. And the wives get in on the pranks as well when they decide to prank call their husbands in a house full of Peters.
This is Michelle Obama.
It is?
Yes. I received all your letters and I do like your mustache.
It's the one thing Cleveland has over Barack. If he managed to grow one, I bet he'd be on his 5th term by now. Cleveland was already crying and eating a pie on the toilet, so this just feels like elbow dropping a corpse from the top rope at this point.
You're eating a pie on the toilet, aren't you, Cleveland?
Who is this? Is this a jerky boy?
It's your wife, you big dummy.
Just keep reminding yourself you had your own show, Cleveland. Greatness came for you once, and it can do it again. Next up is Bonnie, who probably does the best fake voice out of all of them.
Hello, is this Joe Swanson?
Wait, you can talk normal?
What do you mean?
Never mind.
What Lois doesn't know is that it actually takes all of Bonnie's energy to muster this voice. She'll have to go into a week-long hibernation after this. And like Donna, she manages to trick her husband.
And we'll give you $500 if you can sing Britney Spears' I'm Not a Girl, Not Yet a Woman. You've got 10 seconds.
Wait a minute, that didn't sound like Joe at all. Did we get some kind of weird Rick Astley virus while making this video? At least this was a fairly harmless prank. I know Bonnie had a lot she could have said about Joe, and now it's Lois's turn to prank Peter.
You've never met me before and probably don't even know I exist, but you're my father.
I kinda wonder what kind of reaction Lois was expecting. I wouldn't let some whoopsie baby come and take my money.
How'd you get this number? Don't you ever call here again.
But Peter would have his own fun with the prank call in the hand that rocks the wheelchair, and Joe doesn't seem to suspect a thing.
Wheelie, stupid head. Bet you wish that you were dead.
Listen, I don't know who this is, but you better cut it out.
Kids can be so cruel. So can 40-year-old men. But Joe's making it abundantly clear why he's never getting the role of detective.
I'm gonna hang up now.
No, wait. I got 3 more of these I wrote on a napkin.
All right, 3 more.
But we may have to give credit to Bart Simpson for really legitimizing the art of the prank call in the 90s, a skill he puts on display in The Simpsons Guy.
Last name Keybum, first name Lee.
Hang on, I'll check. Hey guys, do I got a leaky bum?
Clever, magnificent, thought-provoking, the work of a true artisan. Let's see if Stewie can replicate that same magic.
Most haven't.
Hello, Mo. Your sister's being Is that one?
Can't really say it is, but there's perhaps no greater example of the differences in The Simpsons and Family Guy's humor than this clip right here. And a classic bit of prank call tradition involves a refrigerator and whether or not it's getting enough exercise, as demonstrated by Peter in Lethal Weapons.
Excuse me, is your refrigerator running? Because if it is, it probably runs like you. Very homosexually.
I mean, that's not the punchline, and he's not even doing it over the phone, but it still gets the intended reaction. You see, Peter's a bit of an avant-garde kind of prankster, challenging the norm in order to make something bold and new. And he must really love this prank because he uses it in other episodes like No Country Club for Old Men.
Hey, is your refrigerator running?
Yes, it is. Are your doors unlocked?
What? Why?
To be fair, he should have known better than to make those jokes in a refrigerator-dominant neighborhood. This is why you always got a star 67 when you're doing prank calls. Ha ha ha, he said the funny meme number. I'm not joking around though, this could save your life.
I don't know, they all kind of look the same.
What do you mean they all look the same?
But it's clear that this is a universal joke that stretches to multiple cultures and people. Even the Russians are familiar with it, as seen in PDIV.
What? Is your refrigerator running?
Yes.
You are very fortunate.
I guess refrigeration is only a joke here in America. Really makes you realize the little things we all take for granted. That's why I let my Prince Albert in a can free years ago. And escaping the show isn't even a guaranteed way to get out of being prank called, something Cleveland finds out in Baby Got Black.
Cleveland? It's Loretta.
What? But you're dead.
No, I faked my death.
You know, as a kid, I thought people faking their own deaths would be a lot more commonplace. But I guess nowadays you can't even sneeze without the whole internet knowing about it. At least Tupac got out before social media arose. He must be loving Cuba right now.
It's us, you idiot!
She's still dead.
Oh, you guys are more meaner than the Jerky Boys.
Speaking of the Jerky Boys, let's see what Mort's up to. He also has a dead wife, and that's the funniest thing to these guys right now.
Hello? Shalom. Muriel?
But sometimes pranks can go a little too far, and you have to know when to abort the mission, which thankfully Stewie does before things get weird and go Stewie go.
I'm new in town and I'm awfully lonely. I'm wondering if you wouldn't mind buying me a drink.
Well, that'd be my pleasure.
So Stewie's in disguise for a television gig, but that doesn't mean he can't have a little fun at Brian's expense. Still, he probably should have remembered how much of a dirtbag his friend is before trying to seduce him.
Karina Smirnoff.
Brian Steele.
Oh, good heavens!
But let's not pretend like this isn't one of Stewie's wildest fantasies coming true. Even still, there's a certain distance you should probably take tricks like this, and Stewie figures that out quickly.
Brian, it's me, Stewie. Oh my god, that was hilarious!
Sure, their friendship may be skewed forever now, but at least Stewie got a little bit of blackmail material out of it. There's always a silver lining.
Brian, we both know I touched it. Now, if you'd like to keep that just between us, I suggest you sit back down and order me some chicken fingers.
But sometimes you just gotta let a prank run its course, even if that means skulls are getting smashed like in Hannah Banana.
What's this? Put your head between these two restrained logs and win a free hat.
And you don't have to sign up for an annoying email newsletter either? Sounds like a pretty reasonable deal to me. After all, just because your head is reduced to a flesh bag of broken bones and blood doesn't mean you can't rock a sick hat.
Who's laughing now? I got my hat.
But some pranks can cause a lot more damage if people aren't careful, like when Lois nearly had a heart attack from a prank while working as a flight attendant in Damn It, Janet.
Hey, fellas, I hope you're hungry. Ah! Oh my god!
It was just a prank, but at least it was still a courteous fake murder scene. They could have shot each other and risked a bullet screwing up the internal pressure of the plane. That's the kind of customer care more airlines need to be following.
That was great. Look at her, she's still shaking.
And some pranks are pretty much indistinguishable from biological warfare, but everyone has to learn not to eat yellow snow at some point, and Grumpy Old Man shows us that day for Stewie.
Hey, check it out, lemon snow. What? Yeah, that stuff's delicious. Lemon snow?
If only the real world were magical and whimsical enough to produce weather phenomena you could eat. Where's the government at with its cloudy with a chance of meatballs research? Take whatever money you're funneling into AI and put it into that.
Ah! That's not lemon!
No, it's not.
You
And some pranks are just so genius, so tantalizing, that they even manage to trick the prankster, as seen with Peter in Road to Rupert.
Oh, $1!
The blood of the coyote flows strongly inside this one. And now it looks like a lot of that stuff is going to be flowing outside his body. Kinda surprised he even owns an anvil. What Middle Ages swordsmith did he yoink that away from?
Peter, you selling your anvil?
Yeah, I've had a lot of good times with this thing.
And it's always cute to see couples being able to have fun and prank one another, like Lois convincing Peter to wear women's clothing in Vestigial Peter.
Hey, Lois, are you sure this place is for men?
Yes, Peter, it's for everyone.
Really? Because this kind of looks like a dress.
Peter shouldn't be too worried about that. After all, it's in his blood. Can you imagine having that underbreeze while you're going about your day? Not saying men should be wearing more skirts and kilts, but I'm not saying it wouldn't be linked to the world becoming a nicer place.
Ah, you gay-bo!
Yeah, that's probably how it would go for a few years. What men amongst thee are brave enough to take up the challenge? But Peter's pranks tend to be a bit more destructive. We're not entirely sure what his intentions were in Deep Throats, but he definitely got her.
Oh, hi, Peter.
Rammer.
What?
I said rammer!
I didn't know you could just pay a cabbie to attempt vehicular manslaughter for a few extra bucks. Think you can do the same with a Waymo? What would you even barter with them? But after shooting her tires out and causing her to crash, even Lois can't deny that it was a pretty good prank.
Oh, all right, you got me.
Totally.
Oh my god.
Then again, that might just be the freshly produced CTE talking. At least with a concussion, she can finally be on Peter's mental level. But otherwise, harmless pranks can do some serious damage to a person if someone gets carried away with them, which happened to Peter when he was hit with an experimental spitball in Trading Places. They've really got some future engineers brewing at James Woods High, don't they? Or potential future enemies of the state. Either way, that kid should probably be punished, but there's gotta be some extra credit involved for finding a way to fit a cow into a straw. Once we figure that out, then we can move on to phase 2. I'm getting that camel through the needle one way or another. And it seems like Peter never really had the best luck with bullies at school, because as we see in the Tan Aquatic with Steve Zissou, he was getting pantsed pretty much every day of the week.
My book report is on the giving tree.
Nerd!
It's a shame pantsing is such a funny prank because I'm pretty sure he can be labeled an offender for it in certain circumstances. And Peter's bully Randy did this to him a ton, even hitting him with the devious reverse pantsing.
Nerd! Randy!
To be fair, Randy was doing a public service. If you're gonna moon the entire bathroom, maybe you deserve to be walking around with your pants soaked. And it's probably no surprise that Peter sees Meg as the perfect target for most of his pranks, with his most explosive one occurring in I Take the Quagmire.
I filled this watermelon with chocolate pudding and M80 firecrackers. Hey, Meg, will you hold this for Daddy?
It's not so much a prank as it is a homemade IED. If the world ever falls into total chaos, I know who I'll be turning to for improvised weapons.
Am I supposed to eat this?
And the key to pulling off a good prank is to sometimes employ a bait and switch, something Peter does to throw Lois off in No Meals on Wheels.
I know you're in here.
Yes, I am, Lois. But where?
Well, one would assume the Quonset hut that usually isn't in the bedroom or the newspaper stand, but that's just the beauty of it. See, in Peter's twisted mind, these are just the perfect red herrings to throw Lois off his scent.
I'm gonna try the Quonset hut.
I was in the bathroom, the hut and the kiosk. Decoys, Lois.
And all it took was a few $1,000s to assemble those decoys. You just can't put a price tag on good comedy. And Peter would try to prank his son one go around and Peter's daughter, using their newly flooded home to pull off a classic but disgusting gag.
Just come here.
What is it, Dad?
Does it feel like the water suddenly just got warmer?
People gotta stop weaponizing their pee. It should only be used for removing excess water from our bodies or saving our lives in a drastic Bear Grylls type situation. Luckily for Chris, Peter got this prank a little backwards.
Oh, that's right, it's pee that makes it warmer.
But sometimes pranks can actually bring family members together. After all, it worked for Peter and Stewie in the courtship of Stewie's father.
Hey, Lois, you want some beans with that rice?
Oh, I misjudged you, fat man.
So when Peter learns that Stewie responds well to him hurting Lois, they decide to prank her with increasingly damaging gags. That's what she gets for feeling safe in her own home.
Okay, Stewie, get the camera ready.
Pretty much every prank is just one injury away from being considered abuse, but Lois manages to walk off, getting slip and slided down the stairs. Big mistake. So Peter and Stewie decide to push their car off a cliff with Lois still in it. Yeah, she's gonna be furious about it, but that's just because she doesn't have a cool sense of humor like Peter and Stewie. If she did, those two would have been dead a long time ago.
Hey, Drippy, you're back. What's for dinner?
And the animal kingdom is no stranger to tricks as well, like when a seal fooled Peter into going surfing in Family Guy Light.
My arms are getting really tired.
No, you're fine. Just keep going.
Ty, your positivity is infectious.
That's the power of positivity. It can get people to do anything you want if you have a good outlook on life. Wearing the skin of a human definitely helps too, but I don't think most of you guys have to worry about that part. Hopefully. Huh, I didn't know seals spoke Astly. Boy, it is just one technical mess up after another today. And volcano insurance is one of those things you'll wish you had when the time comes. But if you're like Peter and not part of the 9% of the world that lives near a volcano, then you're definitely getting scammed like in When You Wish Upon a Weinstein.
I was gonna try to sell you some handsome cream, but I can see you already bought out the store.
Oh, that Jim Kaplan. He talks so much BS that his teeth are practically brown. Yet he says things in such a way that, why do I kinda wanna marry him? But it's hard not to buy into his very generous and earnestly priced offer.
How much is this volcano insurance?
I don't know. Let's say $200.
It makes sense that he had to pull a price out of his butt. He probably wasn't even expecting to get this far. But he at least gives Peter a hand with getting rid of their rainy day fund. After all, rain will be the least of your worries while you're getting Pompeyed. Too soon?
I'm pretty sure we've never had a volcano either.
Well, don't you think we're overdue for one?
And some tricks are described as being easy as taking candy from a baby. I don't think many people have tried that, but that's exactly what certain members of the Griffin family get up to in Must Love Dogs.
This bag was full last night and now half of it's gone. Oh my god, I've been robbed!
So Stewie plans to catch the culprit of this candy heist, first believing it to be Chris. Not to profile anyone, but Chris definitely looks the part. Why is he always wearing that hat? Probably to hide all the stuff he stole underneath it.
I haven't been stealing your candy. Dad has.
The fat man?
He did the same thing to me when I was younger.
And like a good brother, Chris helps Stewie hide his candy somewhere no one would think to look. Except, you know, the guy who helped you find that hiding spot. If the writing was any clearer on the wall, it would have come to life and talked to Stewie like in Blade Runner.
Who's done this to me? Who's taken candy from a baby?
No surprise, but it was an inside job corroborated by Chris and Peter. I'd say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, but these guys look like they haven't eaten an apple in their lives unless it was caramel coated.
We did it. Cheers.
We sure did, Chris.
And we return to the previously covered Halloween on Spooner Street, as there's a lot more tricking than treating taking place, even outside of the prank war.
Hey, get out of here! This is my house!
Yeah, mirrors have this neat little visual trick where it tricks low brain activity creatures into thinking a reflection is someone else. This is one of the few tricks on here that doesn't come from maliciousness, but just Brian simply being an idiot.
Oh, that jerk dog from our patio door somehow got inside a hubcap. I just wanted to alert the owner of the car.
But on the more malicious side, a group of older boys trick Stewie into thinking they're just here to track, but really they just want his candy.
Hey kid, nice costume.
Really? Oh my god, thank you so much.
Stewie's too much of a fashionista to realize when someone's trying to rob him. Like, no one cares about a duck on Halloween. It's either gotta be hot or a meme. Those are the only two options.
Well, now it's ours.
Well, no, but how about this? You can have the apple.
No, Stewie! Those aren't doctors. It isn't gonna keep them away. So Stewie had to learn the hard way that you should never trust teenagers. Whether you're a child or an adult, teenagers exist to make your life worse, and you must always be on your guard. And it turns out Stewie can be tricked rather easily as well, as all it takes is a fake voice from Peter to get him to follow Rupert in Brian Griffin's House of Pain.
Hey, look, Stewie, Rupert wants to go play down in the basement. Hey, Stewie, I'm gonna go play down in the basement.
Well, he is missing Rupert's iconic British accent, but I guess Peter nailed Rupert's hobby of going to the basement. Plenty of loosely sealed chemicals and asbestos down there for the baby to play with. It's like a magical wonderland that slowly suffocates you.
And why are you talking different than usual?
Here I go!
Rupert, get back here!
But even kids are capable of fooling others, like the kid in Encyclopedia Griffin who sets up Peter for a sting.
So you say this gumball machine took your dime and didn't give you a gumball?
That's right.
Well, I'll take care of that.
Peter should have known something was up when the kid said it took his dime. When was the last time a dime had any practical use in the real world? Pretty soon all gumball machines are gonna have tap to pay anyway. And I guess it turns out that the kid was an undercover cop or something, because Peter's forced to make a quick getaway.
You were set up too, huh?
Yeah.
You realize that kid is plowing both our wives right now.
And kids are often pretty good at getting adults to do what they want, though with how Doug tricked the Griffin boys in LASIK Instinct, the situation is a lot sadder.
Maybe this weekend you can put together a treehouse I don't want to deal with.
So after Lois accidentally hits Doug with her car, the family manages to avoid a lawsuit by building the little guy a treehouse. And somehow this has now become a Peter, Chris, Brian, and Stewie problem. Now that's quite the trick. Hit a kid and make your family deal with the consequences.
Build this treehouse for my son. He will love it for a year until my housekeeper moves into it.
So they do as they're told, but Peter gets a text from Doug's dad saying they also need to come to his t-ball game. Okay, the kid just got hit by a car. He's not in a make-a-wish situation. But I guess if you had Doug for a son, you'd probably want to avoid him too.
Look, hold the bat like this and then step into it as you swing forward.
But after one too many demands from Doug's dad, they eventually learned these weren't requests from him, but from Doug, who was using his dad's phone. Aw, the little guy was just lonely. That's gonna make the Griffins feel a little sad when they beat him with hammers.
It was you making us do all that stuff! You made fools of us, Doug!
Get out!
But some things designed to trick children can also trick adults. Or maybe that's just Peter, as seen in Take a Letter.
Oh, Peter! Come and get your lollipops! Lollipops!
Well, he does make some compelling arguments. And in Peter's defense, who would have suspected something malicious from a guy called the Peter Catcher? But something tells me there's more than one kind of Peter this guy's on the hunt for.
I'm gonna get so m***ed.
And Peter would also get tricked by Lois when he realizes she never let him have a real checkbook and Quagmire's mom.
Dad, why don't your checks have any writing on them?
Why don't your shelves have any trophies on them?
Okay, so Peter's pretend finances are evidently a hot button issue. So does this mean that every check Peter's ever written bounced? No wonder the Peter copter failed. The seller probably intended for it to kill Peter for scamming him.
So that $1 million check you gave me yesterday is no good? I quit my job, man! I will not see you Monday.
And sometimes even inanimate objects can get the better of the uninitiated. So remember what happens to Chris and Chap Stewie next time you go for a glass of lemonade.
Chris, pour the man his lemonade.
I can't! The lemonade tricked me and got away!
Well, those lemonade stands are a scam anyway. You ever seen a child make lemonade? They put so much sugar in there that you'll have holes in your teeth after one sip. And I'm not sure what Stewie put in his to make it come to life, but I am not touching that thing with my lips. I'm a third date kind of clam.
Lemons are God's children!
But sometimes you need to be tricked for your own good, something Brian realized when he tried to get Lois off of her pill addiction and prescription heroin.
I have one pill left. It's in my crate, and you may have it.
She really fell for the oldest trick in the doggy playbook. And she didn't even need her pill wrapped in cheese either. This has got to be a cathartic moment for Brian being on the other side of the cell. But Brian knows a thing or two about addictions. Mostly how to have them and nurture them. Not too much on how to kick them. Still, he probably made the right call here.
You're an addict, and I'm the reason those pills were in the house to begin with. So I'm gonna get you through this.
And Lois hasn't been the only member of the family Brian managed to trick into going in the crate, as he did the same thing to Chris and Meg in the Young Parent Trap.
We can finally crate Brian! He tricked us. And we're still waiting on that lasagna.
Oh, my sweet summer child. There was never any lasagna to begin with. There was no crate, no Brian, and no Meg. The accident was 5 years ago, Chris. You have to let them go. I'm being dramatic, but they should have realized something was up when he said lasagna. Everyone knows that's a cat's game. But Chris is pretty impressionable and gets tricked fairly easily, even getting tricked by his self-checkout machine in an app a day.
Please place the item in the bagging area. Please remove the item from the bagging area.
These things were designed to replace cashiers, and yet they have an aneurysm when they think there's an unexpected item in the bagging area. They just love to waste your time, and if we let them hold too much power in our shopping, they're gonna kill us one day.
Ha 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 ha. I told you I could make him do it.
That's hardcore, man. You're hardcore.
And if you ever want to trick Lois, you just gotta set her up with a fake grocery store like in All About Alana. It's pretty much her kryptonite.
What's this? Newer? Fancier?
And we call Fish dumb for falling for a worm on a hook when this is pretty much the same thing. I'd feel more bad for her if she weren't setting the world of stay-at-home wives back 50 years.
What the hell? All they sell here is rope and body bags? Uh-oh.
And that isn't the only time a fake grocery store fooled Lois, as another one was used to buy the family time while planning her surprise party, and Lois comes out of her shell.
Oh my god, are these pickles really only 39 cents?
That's right, ma'am.
But if something seems too good to be true, it probably is. But I'd be less surprised by the fact that this whole place was fake, and more surprised by the fact that the cutout just talked. There's some black magic at play here.
What the hell's going on here?
And you never really realize how much glasses can define someone's appearance, because when Peter doesn't have them on in Carter and Trisha, he doesn't seem to know who he's talking to.
I'll just do what Superman does. Oh, hey, Carter.
Hello, citizen.
That's probably the nicest thing Carter's ever said to Peter, and he doesn't even realize it. But now that I'm looking at him, Peter does look off without that line connecting his two eyeballs. At least Carter's keeping his hands to himself. The last time Peter was without his glasses, it led to the most uncomfortable episode ever. But Carter has tricked Peter as well, going under the guise of Joe Working Man in order to drum up support for the Tea Party and Tea Peter.
Is anyone else out there sick of government crap?
Oh my god, it's like he's saying everything I'm listening to.
Normally, the last thing you want to do with a guy with a mullet is listen to what they have to say, but this working man is saying all the right things to get Peter's support.
But you probably don't want to join the Tea Party, because all you get are these stupid, awesome keychains!
Even when the truth is right in front of his face, Peter still can't put two and two together. After all, Carter wouldn't be caught dead in a t-shirt without a collar. That's the look of a man who makes a six-figure salary, and Carter just cannot relate.
Love to have you on board, Peter.
Wow, thanks, Joe. You can count on me. Oh, Carter, you just missed Joe Working Man.
And one could argue that the market of commerce is one big trick, and Peter uses that belief to take money from a baby and follow the money.
Thank you. I will take that and give you a spoon, because you're a dumb baby.
Yeah? Well, good luck eating ice cream with a $1 bill later. I think Stewie actually made it out the best in this transaction. Paper money is so last millennium. Stewie could probably convince people the spoon is a meme coin and make a killing on it. But like a baby, the mind of a dog is easily tricked, and it's a good thing Brian is food motivated because it helps Stewie get him to go to a concert with him and get Stewie.
You should be thinking for yourself. This from a guy who blindly runs into a room whenever he hears a can opener.
Even the most self-respecting freethinkers don't stand a chance against their vices. It's weird Brian gets excited over the prospect of eating the wettest, sloppiest, stinkiest pet food known to man, but this is a guy who eats his own poop.
Neighbor concert, please.
Oh, I'm a dumb dog.
And you should always keep your relationship with your doctor professional and not parasocial, because as Stewie learns in Family Guy, when they're saying something nice to you, they're probably saying the same thing to others.
Whoa, Stewie, you're getting to be a big boy. I think somebody's gonna be a football star.
If it's all the same with you, Doc, you can probably keep the flattery to a minimum when your job is touching children's bodies. You know, just to make it less weird. But Stewie likes the flattery. It's just too bad this doctor's out there saying the same thing to other kids. Nobody respects loyalty anymore, and that's why there's so many divorces.
I think somebody's gonna be a football star.
Can't believe I fell for that line.
But some tricks can have deadly consequences, especially when you're getting fooled out of your eggs like Peter was by a mongoose and Dearly Deported.
Peter, it's time for lunch.
Sorry, Lois, can't leave the eggs till Quagmire gets back.
Okay, a few questions come to mind. Are those Quagmire's eggs? Did he lay them? Are Quagmire and Peter in some kind of joint custody situation over these eggs? Nothing makes any sense, but I do know one surefire thing in this world. A mongoose will do whatever it takes to get its grubby paws on your eggs.
Mongoose! Mongoose!
It's one of those things you assume will be a much bigger problem in adulthood, like quicksand. But mongoose are very real, and if you're not careful, they'll wipe out your entire bloodline. But aren't they so cute?
Oh, they're all dead. No, please, no!
But sometimes an animal tricking a human doesn't go in their favor, something Brian finds out when he pretends to be a TikToker's missing dog in Vatman and Rob 'Em.
A flyer for a missing dog with a $1,000 reward.
All right, so?
This dog kind of looks like me.
So with Stewie's help, Brian disguises himself as the missing dog to get the reward money. He could just keep sneaking away and Stewie could just keep returning him. Easy infinite money glitch. Unfortunately for Brian, that assumes he'll live long enough to do that.
I'll use you for my most dangerous and humiliating viral stunt yet, and your fate will be that of Rovers 1 through 3.
Yeah, it turns out the owner is a maniac who's already killed his past few dogs. The guy's definitely going to every last layer of hell, but Brian did also lie, so who's to say whether or not he deserved this?
What's wrong with you people? I am a hard-working, accomplished author!
And it's hard to say whether or not there was any malicious intent behind Ernie giving Peter an expired coupon in Daboom, but the lasting effects of this interaction may make it the deadliest goof in history.
That nice chicken outside gave me this coupon.
I'm sorry, this is expired.
I kinda get Peter's anger. You plan your day, potentially having it all revolve around this coupon, only to find out it's expired. I can't say I'd go and destroy the entire city over it, causing uncalculatable casualties, but, you know, I do get it.
Chicken gave me a bad coupon.
And you know those times when you and your family switch bodies with one another and have to convince them everything's normal? Well, for the one person out there who said yes, maybe take a page out of Stewie's playbook and switch the flip.
We can't let him know what's going on. Don't worry, I got an idea. Peter, everything's fine. Just look in the mirror.
Seems like Brian's a big fan of the Marx Brothers duck soup. And it's pretty convenient that Peter's baby brain landed in the body of an actual baby, so that just makes tricking him all the easier.
Now to do my traditional mirror dance.
Never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down, never gonna run around and desert you.
Okay, am I being pranked? Is there a hidden camera somewhere and Ashton Kutcher's gonna jump out and nut tap me or something? Now I kinda wish I had Peter's brain so I can just suppress the insanity and take a nap.
But I'm not tired. I want to go to the clam and...
Thank God.
And sometimes the best pranks just involve some bait and hook, which really comes in handy if you need to get rid of someone like James Woods and Peter's Got Woods.
All right, that's the last of the Reese's Pieces.
Good. Now we wait.
I always wondered if this bit was tied to any real-world thing. Like, are Reese's Pieces James Woods' favorite candy? Has James Woods been captured in a big box a la Tom and Jerry before? Hollywood is a wild world, and like the Kevin Spacey and Bruce Jenner jokes, maybe Family Guy knows something we don't.
Ooh, a piece of candy. Ooh, a piece of candy. Ooh, a piece of candy.
And winning a free boat is pretty cool, but what if there were a mystery box as well? Which would you choose? Well, if you chose the latter like Peter did, and I am Peter, hear me roar, here's your wake-up call to get your head checked.
You can have the boat or the mystery box.
What are you, crazy? We'll take the boat.
Hold on, Lois. Let the man of the house take care of this one. Just think of what could be inside. Money? Jewels? Another never gonna give you up bid? Sorry, our license to use that has expired, but I think it's pretty obvious which one Peter takes.
We'll take the box. You gave up a boat for free tickets to a crappy comedy club.
And there are only a few rare moments where it's worth reverse mortgaging your house. Unless, of course, you really want a Mr. Potato Head like Peter in a stash from the past.
Here's a phone number as big as we can put it.
I'm getting my Mr. Potato Head.
I don't fully understand what a reverse mortgage is, but I do know that if it's primarily advertised in a commercial that plays in the middle of the workday, then it's nothing but trouble. But who can say no to the mustache of Tom Selleck? Peter certainly couldn't.
Where did you get all this money?
It was easy. I took out a reverse mortgage, which is that thing where your house gives you free money.
And every now and then you become a victim of a double trick, which is where you think you're being tricked and you end up tricking yourself into being tricked, which happens with Stewie and Nap Time and White Meg Can't Jump.
The truth about naps. I hate naps, and I love the truth.
So Stewie learns that nap time is actually just one big conspiracy for parents to have time to themselves. Even if that were true, good? I think parents more than deserve a little time away from all the pooping and crying. But Stewie does realize there's one very obvious lie parents have been telling their children for generations.
Another lie! That's not deadly lava!
Surely he would have thought about what it would take to have lava in the house and not destroy everything, right? After all, Peter did reverse his decision on that volcano insurance way back when. But Lois lies to her children plenty, especially when it comes to what she thinks of Chris and Catfight.
So religion isn't gonna be for people like you and me. It's basically for stupid people like Chris.
Oh, well, that's lovely. Crapping on religion and your son all in one go. But as we all know, you're only a bad person if you say it to your son's face. If not, no harm, no foul.
What are you guys talking about?
How handsome you are.
Really?
Swear to God.
And Stewie and Brian would realize they're being tricked by the guests when they decide to open up a B&B in the Peter principle.
We're checking out. Just charge my card.
That's weird. That's the 5th couple to check out after only an hour.
Yeah, it turns out people only really have use for one of the B's in B&B, and it doesn't seem to be the breakfast.
The only people checking in are here to have with prostitutes.
Well, if they had known that sooner, they probably wouldn't have put so much money into the breakfast part. But what was your favorite Family Guy prank? Let us know. Oh my god, there it is again! Like and subscribe to the channel. Ring the bell to get notified about future videos. They usually don't have this much rickrolling. We'll get that figured out for the next video.